Bananas are a tropical fruit and have no natural defense against the cold in their cell walls. These become ruptured by cold temperatures, causing the fruit's digestive enzymes to leak out of the cells, which is what causes the banana's skin to turn completely black. After you take them out of the fridge, and their skin will turn black.
Potatoes. Keeping them refrigerated can change the potatoes' starch into sugar, which will affect their texture and cause them to become discolored and taste sweet once cooked.
Onions have a tendency to go soft in the fridge. Onions keeping them away from your fridge is that they have a tendency to make everything in the vicinity taste like onions too, which can be very unpleasant.
Putting an unripped avocado in the refrigerator may prevent it from ever ripening completely. Once cooled to near freezing, some avocados don't ripen anymore, even when removed to room temperature.
Garlic. Garlic can go soft and moldy in the fridge and has a tendency to contaminate other products with its flavor.
Bread. Bread stored in the refrigerator will dry out and become stale much faster than bread stored at room temperature.
For coffee, however, storing in the refrigerator is a bad idea. In the refrigerator, there is a lot of moisture. Just open your fridge to find out, and both whole bean and especially ground coffee will readily suck up that moisture. You should never store coffee in the fridge.
Tomatoes. The ripening and taste of tomatoes can be drastically affected when stored in the fridge. A reaction that produces the characteristic tart taste of tomatoes is disrupted in cold temperatures.
Honey. Storing honey in the fridge tends to cause crystallization very quickly, leaving a product with an unpleasant texture.
Watermelon. When you stored watermelon in freezer, you will lose lycopene levels and beta-carotene levels, which are most important for health.
Pumpkins need to be placed in a well-ventilated area. The location also needs to be dark, cool and dry.
Since storing olive oil in a fridge will turn it harder and make it condensed, it should never be placed there. Instead, put the olive oil in dark, cool place.
Basil. The refrigeration cold will wilt basil a lot faster than normal. Also, basil can and will absorb any of the smells from other foods near it.
Kiwi, apricots, mangoes, plums and peaches can also lose their nutrients if placed in a cooler. To avoid the cold temperatures of the fridge breaking down the membranes of the fruits, place them in a dry, cool place such as your counter.
Peanut butter. Placing it inside your fridge can eventually turn the peanut butter hard and dry.
Eggs. Keeping eggs inside the refrigerator spoil the natural taste and flavor of eggs.
Salad dressings. Refrigeration of salad dressings brings bad smell to them. Keep in mind that there are some salads that are mayo or yogurt based should be refrigerated in order to keep them fine. So if you have some salad that has been already dressed, you can keep them away from your fridge without any hesitation.
Ketchup. Having bacteria-deterring acids is a boon for ketchup, as you can expect to be okay with your ketchup up to more than years without refrigeration.
Canned tuna has a lot of preservatives, which makes it completely fine to keep in the kitchen cupboard rather than in the fridge. Also, the taste is better at room temperature rather than having it completely cold.
Citrus fruits. Cold temperatures can cause fruits such as lemons, limes, and oranges to suffer from chill damage. This disrupts the processes needed for ripening and can often result in dull skin with dark spots and dry, tasteless fruit within.
Cucumbers are likely to become injured from the cold after more than 3 days in cold storage, so there is little point putting them in to extend their shelf life. This cold injury can result in wateriness, pitted and damaged skin, and even speed up decay. Store at room temperature and away from other fruit and vegetables for the longest shelf life.
Carrots. Refrigerating carrots can give you a shocking experience with rotted, water-filled carrots within a few days.
Chocolates. You can keep those types of chocolates inside your fridge that are very much prone to diluting due to the hot temperature, but most chocolates do not need refrigeration. You can also experience a different taste of a chocolate after keeping it in the fridge. So never go for refrigeration for your chocolates unless you notice a huge change in its solid state. If some chocolates become liquid for excessive heat, then you can keep them in your fridge for making solid again.
Cereal. The moisture in the fridge and the low temperature can spoil their texture and make cereal less crunchy.
Flour. Never be foolish by making your fridge crowded with unnecessary food items.
Pepper. Really, after keeping them inside the refrigerators, their colors become dull. So red, yellow or green, whatever the color of the pepper is, it is safe to say that you can keep them in a dry and cool place.
Jam. Jam is made with excessive amount of preservatives, and for this reason, you can preserve jam without keeping it inside your refrigerator.
Spices. It is not hard to see that some people keep spices in their refrigerators. This act has no value, as ground spices can be preserved for a long time without any refrigeration.
Salad. Vinaigrettes or salad dressings is one item that many people often place in their fridge. However, research has shown that there is no real benefit to doing so.
Apples. Apples normally last about a week or two when placed at room temperature. That's because, at room temperatures, the enzymes on apples become more active. However, if you want them to last longer than that, you can store them in your fridge.
Pears. If you have pears which are not ripe, you should avoid refrigerating them. The cold can delay that process and keep it from being fresh. Once your pears have ripened, you can put them in the fridge to make them last longer though.
Soy sauce. Soy sauce is already fermented and because of that, does not require refrigeration.
Tabasco. Tabasco should be stored away from direct sunlight and in a cool place. Even after opening, it does not require refrigeration.
Eggplants. Eggplants are temperature sensitive, which is why keeping them in a fridge can harm them. Once the temperature drops below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, it can end up damaging both flavor and texture.
Pineapples. Unlike other fruits, pineapples do not continue to ripen once they are harvested. Because of that, refrigerating them is not recommended.
Papaya. Fresh papaya is often available throughout the year. Just like many other foods, papaya will not ripen if placed in a fridge. Keeping on the counter and turning them occasionally will produce better results.
Sweet potatoes. Placing sweet potatoes in the refrigerator alters and changes the structure of their cell walls. That ends up making them harder to break down and thus turning them harder than normal. This, in turn, will cause them to take longer to cook.
Donuts. Placing donuts in refrigerators often leads them to turn soggy or become stale. Some, such as glazed donuts, can even end up getting sticky. The truth is that there is really no need to place your donuts in the fridge. Refrigeration can cause a moist environment for donuts and other foods.
Vinegar. One of the great things about vinegar is that it is self-preserving. In fact, the Vinegar Institute confirmed in a study that the shelf life of vinegar is nearly indefinite. The reason for this is because of the acid nature of vinegar. Like most condiments, it does not need to place inside your fridge.
Since storing olive oil in a fridge will turn it harder and make it condensed, it should never be placed there. Instead, put the olive oil in dark, cool place.
Yogurt. As long as the yogurt remains unopened, then there's really no need to place it in the refrigerator. Yogurt can survive and last for a long time outside your fridge. On the other hand, if you like cold-tasting yogurt, then you can place it there.
Butter. We do know that butter will last up to a week out in the open. Still, others will say that butter will last longer when refrigerated. The choice on whether or not to keep in the fridge or out can vastly depend on how often you use it.
Potato chips. When it comes to potato chips, refrigeration does slow down the oxidation process. In addition, it can also speed up moisture absorption as well. Like everything else that's susceptible to moisture, it is best to keep it well sealed.
Dry crackers. Dry crackers don't need to be placed inside of the fridge. Storing dry crackers in a dry and cool area is highly recommended. Air moisture and absorption are the biggest factors that end up causing crackers to lose its flavor and taste.
Uht cow milk. Unlike regular milk that spoils and can catch bacteria very quickly if left out the fridge, Uht cow milk is not the same. That's because UHT actually stands for ultra-high temperature pasteurization. The process behind this is the milk being heated up to 280 degrees Fahrenheit for about 2 seconds. Doing this ends up killing a lot more bacteria than the traditional pasteurization procedure. Based on this process, Uht cow milk ends up lasting nearly 5 times as long as regular milk.
Molasses. Molasses is made mostly from liquid byproducts which come from refined sugar. Since sugar holds moisture by being highly hygroscopic, bacterial growth is non-existent. In addition to this, putting your molasses in a refrigerator will actually make it hard. That will make it even more difficult to use or pour.